Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out this video, or if I'm sending it to you, thanks for watching it, and I hope it's useful and beneficial for your English language practice. As a phrasal verb I want to go over, it's going to be come up with. Okay, come up with. So you can come up with something. Come up with something. I didn't really write any notes. I just have a very simple. I just wrote down come up with. I'm not sure. I'm going to keep looking at this. So come up with. To come up with something is to devise something. Devise, D-E-V-I-S-E, meaning to create, to craft, to develop, to think of. So you can say, think of something. Think of a plan. What are we going to do? Think of a plan. I need to think up something. I need to think something up. I need to come up with something. So coming to you. Well, we're having a problem. I'm coming to help. I'm coming to you with a solution. So I will come up with something. So maybe we're thinking there is a situation we need to deal with. Maybe we need to rise to the occasion. We need to rise out of a difficult situation. The boat's sinking, the ship's sinking. We need to come up with a plan fast. I got the idea. Stick some bubble gum in the hole. I came up with a plan. So come up with something. And you could come up with a plan, or you can come up with something like actually. It could be a non-physical plan, or it could be an actual, like a plan, almost like a really devising, like an architectural blueprint. Like if you're going to be building or designing some type of structure, if you're going to be doing some type of coding, you can come up with something. Sorry, I was burping. So something is wrong with this line of code. Give me 30 minutes. I'll come up with something to make a workaround so that we can keep the site up and running. A workaround is another phrasal verb, just meaning a short-term solution. Okay, so I'll come up with something today. I'll come up with something by this evening. Basically, I will devise or create or develop, think up a plan. So you better come up with something quickly, otherwise, you guys won't be able to compete. So we're about to play a soccer game. We're supposed to be 6 on 6. Meaning 6 versus 6, 6 people versus 6 people. One of our teammates broke his leg, and if we don't find somebody to replace him, we can't compete. And then that's a bummer. We want to compete. So the referee says, hey man, you guys need a 6th player. You better come up with something fast. You better come up with a player. So you can come up with a player, meaning to provide that player. So come up with something to provide it. So providing and devising. So come up with a plan, devise a plan, provide a plan, create a plan, think of a plan. You need to come up with another person. You need to come up with some more money. So, hey, you're $500 short for this bill. You need to come up with the rest of that money. Meaning I need to provide. I need to create. I need to make it here to be able to provide it to whom or whatever is requiring it. So let's give some examples. We are brainstorming for this quarter, trying to find some new marketing ideas. Does anybody have any ideas? Well, no one has any ideas right now, but let's sit and think for a while. Someone will come up with something. Eventually, someone will come up with a plan. Someone will devise a plan. Someone will think of a plan. Someone will think up a plan. Someone will create a plan, hey, if we want to make this road trip happen next month, we need to come up with $500 more. Okay, the road trip costs, again, $1,000. Yeah, we only have $500 right now. We need to come up with $500 more. We need to provide, acquire, accumulate, create, somehow, earn, any way that you are able to come up with. You are creating it, gaining it, assimilating it so that it can be provided, that it can be given. Hey, why are you late today? You better come up with a good excuse or you're fired. So I need to come up with an excuse. I need to develop an excuse, devise an excuse, create an excuse, and provide that excuse, give that excuse to whom or whatever is requiring it of me. We're hiring. Our company is hiring. So we're looking to fill 12 positions. We're hiring 12 people. So far, we found 8 candidates or applicants that we're moving forward with. We're going to hire them. We need to come up with 4 more. So I'm telling the hiring manager, hey, you got to come up with 4 more people to fill these spots, to find them, acquire them, and provide them, send them over. So yeah, come up with, I can kind of beat that horse. That's an idiom there, to beat a dead horse, basically kind of to continue to do something again and again and again. So basically just keep making examples, keep explaining the same thing again. So beating a dead horse, an idiom, meaning that you're basically doing the same thing again and again. I'll say that for another time. But yeah, that's what it means. So come up with a plan, come up with something, a strategy, a method. So again, you're acquiring, developing, devising, creating, crafting, thinking of something. So some other similar things that may become comparable or similar, but not exactly the same, or if something hits you. So let's say you're brainstorming. Let's say we're in a brainstorming situation. We're at work. We are all trying to come up with ideas for advertisements, marketing for this quarter. Okay, we have to get more customers. We need more clients. We're in a brainstorming session. We need to come up with more ideas for marketing so that we can bring in more clientele, more clients, more customers. Okay, and someone's thinking, what should we do? Here's an idea. It just hit me. Okay, it just hit me. I guess we can say it just hit me is really a, I guess that would also be a phrasal verb or a collocation. Yeah, I don't think that'd be an idiom. Yes. So it just hit me, or it just struck me. Again, hit meaning, pop, or just struck me, pop, a rock fell. Someone threw a rock and the rock struck me. Somebody punched me in the face. They struck me. If someone says a thought just hit me, a thought just struck me, that means that thought just came to them. So I'm thinking, I got it. Thought just came to me. This thought just came to me. This thought just popped into my mind. This thought just popped up into my mind. This thought just hit me. It just hit me. This thought just struck me, meaning that, again, it appeared, it manifested, it came into existence in my mind. So again, not the exact same thing as come up with, but very similar. So come up with a plan. I came up with a plan. When did you come up with that plan? Oh, it hit me just 5 minutes ago. I was walking to the bathroom and then bam, the light bulb went off in my head. Light bulb went off, the light bulb flashed. We say went off, but it actually turned on. Light bulb flashed in my mind. The idea was there. I used the bathroom and ran back here to say, hey, I came up with a great idea for this quarter's marketing strategy. What else do we say? We might say it just dawned on me. Again, this is even more different than hit me or struck me. This is more of a realization or revelation. Meaning you're realizing something is making sense to you. So I'm sitting here, it just dawned on me that I left my wallet in my car. Something, again, a realization. So not an idea that I just came up with, but something that I was aware of, I had knowledge of, but for some reason it did not register in my brain. I wasn't thinking about it. And so I'm driving to the store. It just dawned on me that I left my wallet back at home. I just realized. So again, similar to it just hit me, just struck me. You can't say, oh, it just hit me, I left my wallet back at home. Completely fine. The difference is if it just dawned on you. Again, it's a realization. It just hit me, just struck me. It can be realization. It can also be a realization of an idea that just was born into your mind, not realizing something that you knew but just forgot about or was not thinking about. I'm sorry, that was a lot. I hope that didn't confuse you. If it wasn't clear, please message me and I'd be happy to explain more slowly with more detail and more separation. This was kind of just a quick mashup. So come up with something, come up with a plan, come up with an idea, come up with the funds, come up with the people, come up with anything, okay? Oh, okay, here's a question I get often. Different here. So come up with versus come up. So we're talking and then a certain topic came up in the discussion. If something comes up, it arises, it occurs, it happens, it takes place. So for example, we're supposed to meet today, and I say, hey, my sincere apologies, something has come up or something came up. I'm not going to be able to meet you today. You know, basically some situation has arisen, has occurred, and it has changed something. So come up could be something actually happens that is of importance, that may change our plans or our agenda. You know, why didn't you get this completed on time? Well, something came up last week and I was pulled from this project and I had to help the other guys with their project. Okay, I understand. Something came up. Something always comes up. It's okay. So not the same thing as come up with. Something comes up, it arises. Something came up in conversation. So I was talking with Richard yesterday and something interesting came up during our conversation. He told me of a brilliant idea. So it's a little tricky here, right? So something came up, something arose, then he told me of a brilliant idea. He came up with an idea, and this idea came up in the conversation. So came up, something occurred, something happened. So this just came up, I have to go now. This just happened, this just arose, this was just made, I was just made aware of this. This situation just transpired, just occurred, and now it's impacting things, and I have to respond or react to it. So not the same thing as come up with. So come up with a plan. Something just came up last week. The client wants us to completely alter our plans. We need to come up with a way to do that as efficiently as possible. Do you get that? Does that make sense? Something came up last week, and now the client needs us to completely change, alter, redo this plan, this activity we're doing for them. We need to come up with a way to do it as efficiently as possible. Okay? So come up, something came up, something arose, something occurred, something transpired, something became manifest or evident, come up with, to think up, devise, or create something. I think that's all for here. I don't want to go too long here, getting into a bunch of different things that could be a bit confusing. I hope this was informative. I hope this made sense for you. Give it a try. Try to utilize this. So I often tell my students, repetition and consistency is very important. Practicing, actively utilizing what you have learned or heard or read or watched or listened to is very important for really actually storing it in your brain as useful vocabulary for you to actually utilize. Because if not, a day, a week, a month, a couple of months go by, you won't be able to pull that word, that phrase, to use it in your arsenal, in your speaking or your writing. So it's very important that you actually, apply what you're learning and implement it into your speech and into your writing. So it's very, very important because your brain needs to have active use of that for you to actually download it and save it and store it as your own in the front of your brain for usage and not the back of your brain just for, oh, I know this word. I hear it, I see it, I read it somewhere, and I know it, I identify it, but then I'm not able to call it out and use it competently and confidently and fluently. So make a few examples with this. I challenge you. Make a few sentences using came up with, whatever tense. Make a few example sentences using something came up. We have to reschedule. Something might come up. We should be prepared. Make 2 or 3 sentences for each. If you have any confusions or misunderstandings, or you're not certain about whether or not your sentences are correct, send them to me. Message me. Say, hey, can you check these out? I'll be happy to check them out. Give you any tips I can, help to correct you and kind of point you in the right direction. And especially if something in this video wasn't clear or it was confusing, it's very likely it was, because I kind of started bouncing around looking at other stuff, but I'm kind of doing this off the top of the head, meaning I don't have a script in front of me. I had like a note with the phrase on there so I remember what I was talking about, but I don't have a script here. So top of the head means I'm just kind of rolling with it. I don't have a script. I don't have a plan. I'm just speaking from the mind. They may also say off the dome, off the top of the head. So yeah, any questions, anything confusing, unclear, uncertain, you wanna send me over your writing, your sentences, your recordings of you saying the sentences. I'd be happy to listen to them and give some feedback. And yeah, I hope this is useful. Hope this is instructional. beneficial. Again, do your best to use it. Not just with this video from me, but whatever content you're watching or reading or looking at, if it's for the purpose of active or passive English language improvement, get active. Take some of what you've been told by whatever tutor you're speaking with or teacher or video you're watching. Make a sentence with those words. Practice pronouncing those words and really implement it. Make it useful. Make it even more useful than what it is just by reading or listening or watching. Reading it, listening to it, or watching it. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. Thanks so much. Take care, be well, and again, be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions or doubts. All right, bye-bye.